Hey everyone, I'm back, and with another cooking video. This time, I thought I'd change it up a little, not dessert this time, but instead, I'm going to show you how to make chicken nuggets, or you could also call them chicken tenders if you cut them into strips instead of little, like, nugget bites. So, to start off, you're going to need 2, or 3, however many you want to make, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and then also a cup of milk, 1/3 a cup of pickle juice, an egg, and another cup of milk. Also, you're going to want to have peanut oil for when you're cooking the chicken. You can also have canola oil as well, but I think peanut oil is good too. Also, once we're done cutting them up and soaking them in the milk and pickle juice and stuff, you're going to need a cup of all-purpose flour and 1.5 tablespoons of powdered sugar and a little salt. Okay, so I just wanted to lay that all out there before we get started. Okay, so first you're going to want to cut up the chicken. So just cut it up into like about 1 by 1 inch bits. So, I mean, you can make them whatever size you'd like, but I think that's works best for size. And the smaller they are, the easier they are to soak in the milk and stuff. Make sure you have a good sized bowl out for when you're doing that, because you don't want to overflow. So just cut them up into like 1 to 1.5 inch by 1 to 1.5 inch bites, and then I'll come back with the next step once I'm done with that. Okay, I'm back. So now all you do is pour the 1/3 cup of pickle juice. And if you're wondering if there's already something like in there, then that's just some extra pickle juice I put in there because I didn't fill it all the way to the top in here. Okay, and then pour the cup of milk in there too. Spill it. Now just get out a fork or a spoon or something. Just get a fork. And then just mix it around a little. And so that should cover your chicken. Now if you have more than one chicken, then you should be good. Maybe. You might need to do a little more if you're doing more than what I did. So just do that, and you can use a different kind of chicken. I just want to mention that, but it's just what you prefer, really. As long as it doesn't have bones, or then you should be good. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and so in the meantime, between your chicken soaking in the milk and pickle juice, what you can do is go ahead and put together the powdery mixture that's gonna coat your chicken. So put in a cup of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of powdered sugar. Now just get out a fork and mix it up. Now you might need a little more than a cup, so I'd say a cup to 1 1/4 cup of flour, but the rest of the ingredients should be fine. So do that, and then keep letting your chicken set, and I'll be back with next. Okay, now once your chicken is done soaking in the milk and pickle juice, drain it in the sink until there's no milk and mixture left. Now, once you've done that, just wash your hands up and get out an egg and the cup of milk I mentioned earlier. So, do that, then crack your egg, and then whisk it together till it's nice and fluffy. And so this is just like a good mixture to with the milk to coat the chicken to really have moisture to make the flour stick. Plus it adds a little flavor of the egg. So then mix the milk in there too. Mix it. Then add the chicken just a little bit at a time. So this you only have to let set for, we'll just sit for a minute or two. You don't have to let it set as long as the pickle juice and milk mixture. So then also you can get out a good sized pan. If you want to, I'll show you in a minute what the pan looks like, but you can also look back at my Alfredo video, and that's the pan I'll be using. So now just let this set for a few minutes and then I'll be back and we'll coat it with the flour. Okay, so I'm back. I let them soak for a few minutes, and now you're gonna let them drain it again. Okay. And you don't want it real juicy because then it's gonna absorb a lot of the flour before it even really sticks to the chicken itself. So now just put it in there bit by bit. Just let it drip a little before you put it in the flour, because you want to get the juices off. And then just stir it up, so that the flour gets on it. So now just repeat that all several times for the whole batch of chicken. And I'll be back once that's done and I'm ready to start cooking. Okay, so now get to the stove, get a large pan out, put the peanut oil, or I highly recommend peanut oil because it's one of the healthiest oils besides olive oil. So I would suggest using that, but whatever you have at hand is pretty much fine. So put it on to medium heat and make sure you're watching your oil very closely because it heats up very fast. So flick some water on it or a little flour or something to know if it'll start like, so say like I flick a little of this on there, it starts like bubbling and stuff. So let it heat up. Now you don't want, see it's popping, so be careful. And so you'll know you don't want to put too much oil in there because then, so I gotta get my chicken in, but you really need to be careful with your oil because it pops and you need to really be careful so you don't burn yourself. Turn it down. Yes. Okay. So you can definitely turn it down and take it off the eye and all that when you're doing it. Just to heat it up, I turned it to medium. So you really want to be careful. It's better, excuse me, to let your stuff burn than to burn yourself. So just kick it off. There we go. So you also want to make sure you have plenty of forks at hand, because, or designated forks, and you remember which ones, because you don't want to cross-contaminate your chicken. So have one for the raw chicken, have one for when you're cooking and moving it around and stuff, and then have one for when your final product, or once it's fully cooked, is done. And also have a plate out with some paper towels on it for because it will be slightly greasy, so you really want to be careful. I just can't emphasize that enough. I mean, I've been burnt a few times by it, and it doesn't feel good, but so you want to be careful. and especially you don't want any like grease fires to happen, so really pay attention to what you're doing. And try not to splatter it. See, like that kind of just happened. So don't just slap the stuff in there. Just kind of like rest it in there and then shake it off a little. No pun. So wash your hands after you're putting it in there. Just keep your hands sterile. And so this may be a little boring, but I just want to show you the whole process of cooking the chicken. So see, it's really bubbling, and you want to make sure you're watching it very closely, and just leave it for a few minutes at first, but then as you're doing it, just check it. So even if it's not like done, you just want to check it still, especially the first pieces you put in. You want to check. So just when it's starting to get brown, that's when you want to flip them. So make sure you're really watching them, and that's when you flip them. So when they get a little dark brown, flip them, check them, flip them back again until don't burn them, but just flip them back and forth until they're, and then take one off, slice it open, make sure it's done inside, and then you'll know the others from so on. So I'll be back once these have cooked, the first batch is cooked, and then I'll show you what they look like. Thank you, and be careful with the oil. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what they look like when they're being cooked. So as you can see, so towards the bottom, these are the ones I put in the earliest. Okay, so just they're darker than they look in the camera. So those to the farthest, they're the lightest. Those I just put in. So, and then in the middle, those are the ones like in between. So those are basically what they should look like in between, and make sure you flip them back and forth. And I'll show you a quick picture at the end of what they look like when they're completely done. Make sure you put them on a paper towel and just like dab them to get all the grease off, or else they may be a little, they won't be as crispy. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you end up making them yourselves, and just remember, be careful with the grease. Thank you, and happy Easter.